Good afternoon, guys. We jumped straight on it today. It is Tuesday and we are running out of time. Will we get it done? Be positive, guys. Brian's saying no. Yeah, watch this space. We now have both headlights in. We've been dealing with the electrics. We have fluid and a brake reservoir inside fitted. So we have that. Let me just show you down in place. Down there, so we've mounted the reservoir in there and run the pipes in. We have been messing around with the dash, so we've mounted this temporarily with a little screw so we could put that in. We could get the steering column on to know where that come through. We've fabricated the dash and done the holes for the clocks and the ignition barrel. There's no time to waste, so unfortunately we didn't capture everything on camera, but I hope you guys appreciate all the work we're doing in the short amount of time we're doing it in. It's got the ignition barrel. We've also done hidden switches underneath the dash for controlling the headlights, the wipers, etc. The guys are frantically discussing all the wiring, where we're going to be running it for the lights. We've tested the rear sequential lights we fitted. Yesterday, obviously, we had the major issues with the starter motor. We had another old starter motor that was not good enough, and we managed to get a new starter motor from Unity Motor Factors. They actually had one on the shelf for a classic Volkswagen Beetle. That's gone on there. So it isn't the high torque one that we actually had originally, but it starts, it runs, it does what it needs to do. So that's all good. I'm just working on bleeding the brakes, and we've just received another package from Butty's Bits. So these 10mm spacers are replacing the other ones that we had, and everything clears. We just need to swap the bolts because the bolts that we had for these ones were too long. So we've just found some more that will fit, and they're the right length. So they're going in and everything clears and turns. We've got the locking tabs as well from Butty's Bits for the front hubs. What else have we been doing? Electrics. Brian's doing all the electrics for the ECU. So yeah, lots is happening. We have a small fuel leak on the return pipe which we need to deal with in the fuel tank. But I think it's the joiner that we put on there. But otherwise, you can see down in here, we've got the pipes onto the master cylinder. Oh yes, we're dealing with also some issues on the linkage. It's so very close to the actual fuel tank underneath there that we've had to rotate that slightly round. We've had to move the steering box over slightly as well, so that lines up. Fingers crossed, we're getting there, There's chaos everywhere, there's lots of stuff going on. The dash is in the paint booth as well, so I'll walk you through. So this is the custom dash, so it goes up this way, and we've got the switches hidden underneath. So we've got side lights, main beam and full beam. And then this one is wipers on and off, 1 speed. That'll do us for now. We've got the steering column that comes through there. We've got the ignition switch there. We've got the speedo gauge here, and then the coolant, the oil temperature, and everything else in that gauge there. So that's going to go white. We'll get that painted, and that fits on nicely with the windscreen as well. I think that is bringing up to speed with everything we've done today. We are still waiting for the seats. We don't have seats at the minute. We are waiting for an air filter. The plan is hopefully we can get this wiring laid out, grab the roll cage and get that on, but we need the dash painted and in place before we can do that. So yeah, we've got a lot to do in not many hours. Okay, so I'm on to bleeding brakes and sorting that out. We had a slight leak up there on the mast cylinder. But when we fitted the wheel on this side, and this side only, it catches the caliper. This is quite common. I've done it before on Beetles where you fitted different wheel and brake combinations. So the trick to it is actually machining some of this off. They're a cast and they're not all perfect. So yeah, we're going to grind this back. So I'll set the camera up and you see me grind this back, and then we'll test fit the wheel and check it clears. It's just literally just catching across here. There is a little snot of weld on there, so you see what it's catching there. Otherwise it's okay. So a slight distortion from the wheel caliper, and this being slightly bigger is throwing it out slightly. Very common, but we'll machine that off now. And yeah, I use my trick again of just taping this on to hold it in place, and then we put the bolts in so we can line that up. Saves trying to hold that and put a wheel on and put bolts through. And yeah, we've got the locking tabs on there as well, so we're moving in the right direction. And I've just pumped the pedal up as well, and we've got fluid coming out of this brake. Obviously you need to start from the furthest point away from the master cylinder, so that'll be the back left, and then work your way forward to getting all the air out. Okay, so with continuity, I'm a little bit lost, to be perfectly honest. We have got so much to do and so little time. It is just gone 8:30 on Wednesday. We had a bit of a nightmare yesterday, so we got all the brakes sorted out on the buggy. They all work, that's fine. I then started to look into the steering and realised we weren't getting steering lock one way. We'd get it almost full on one way, but not the other. So I messed around with the steering box. I looked at the old steering box. We adjusted track rod ends. We were checking the steering stops. We weren't getting clearance between the fuel tank in the middle and underneath the actual spine of the floor pan, and it was fighting me. I was obviously tired as well, but eventually we figured it out. We need to lengthen one drive shaft on the left hand side and shorten the other one. So I'm going to get those off and start doing that. Meanwhile, amongst the chaos of sorting all the wiring out inside, we actually put together a dash as well. So we've made the dash now, gave that to Chris. He got that painted yesterday, so that's dry, because we need that in place on the front of the beach buggy so we can mount everything. And then the roll cage can go in, or the windscreen can go on, then the roll cage can go in. Yeah, later on today we have a photo shoot with Nick Williams. That is NWVT. Wife's calling, let's get back to her in a minute. Yeah, so that's gonna be a late one. He wants to do a dusk shoot on this, so stay tuned on our socials. That will be coming out later once he does all that photo shoot. But yeah, we need to get this looking like a beach buggy and ready for a photo shoot. As well as have it all ready tomorrow to then take to Cornwall on Friday. Are we going to get this done? Let's jump into it and do some work. Okay, so we're talking about the steering issue. I'm going to now remove this track rod end because this one is about 2 inches too long. I'm hoping we've got enough thread going right the way up inside of it that I can cut a chunk out of it, shorten this one by 2 inches, weld it back together again, and that'll do that, and then cut the other side and lengthen that by 2 inches. We've set the steering box in the centre now, so that's the centre of the steering box. So when we go lock, we got 1.5 turns this way, 1.5 turns the other way. Hopefully that makes sense, but yeah, let's get this off and get it altered so we actually have steering. So we've just cut 1 inch out of that one end. We're now going to cut the track rod end down 1 inch. I'm just using inch masking tape as a good reference point, and we'll clean up the end of that thread, clean up the thread in that, and then do the same to the other end, so we end up taking 2 inches out. Yeah, that's it. So slight change of plan, we're not going to cut the other end because that's a left hand thread and we've only got a tap for a right hand thread, so we're going to now tap the thread further down and then hack another 1 inch out of this side, and fingers crossed we'll be good. So you should be able to see amongst the chaos of everything going on here, I've done the first shortening and there's all going on behind me as well, and now I've just cut the longer near side link, and I have a bolt, so I've just cut this in half. So let's play some music while I cut this, it's going to be loud. Done. Right. So now that's going to go inside there. It's a nice tight fit. That one will go inside there. I'll measure that for 2 inches and then weld round that, and then we've still got the adjustment on this end and this end. And if like magic, there we go. Get that cleaned up, and we have an extended track rod end with adjustable both sides. So yeah, let's get this on. Hopefully that's the steering then done. Oh, I'm really excited. Let me turn my mic on, I'm too excited. I haven't turned the mic on. We got the mic on. We got the mic on. Evan just come in with a big box. This is very exciting. Come on, Evan, open them up. You're my official seat tester. So the other seats we got that you saw in an earlier episode didn't fit at all. So I kind of splashed out a little bit and went for something very special. And I think everyone's excited to see these. I hope they fit. Oh, the suspense, guys, the suspense. Look at that. Have we even got room in there?
I've moved the some of it up.
There's enough room around it. There's enough room. That's cool. That's very, very cool. Right, back to work. Okay, so steering is all done now. Steering shaft on as well. Brian is working on electrics, but I need to deal with cutting a board to go in the back so we can then start mounting the radiator. Rob is working on electrics on the front, doing the indicators that we're trying to hide underneath the body. Yeah, so I'm going to put this on time lapse just so you can capture all of us doing the work that we're doing, and I'll jump back in and explain and show you what we've achieved in how many hours? How many?
20 minutes.
Yeah, no, we haven't got long. It's now 12:35 on Wednesday, and yeah, my watch is getting upset. So let's jump back on it and do it. We've had another disaster over here. I knocked Rob's coffee over. Ah, dear. Anyway, otherwise things are going well. This is where the radiator is going to live, and we've made the board to go on the bottom, and you just saw us making the board that's going on the top. We're going to have this coming out, so it's a top fill radiator. We'll drop that down. We're going to have a couple of fans mounted behind this as well. So sitting in the seats, you will see just the radiator, and we're going to put a panel on here to block that off. So then the radiator draws in the air, blows it over the engine and out the back. Yeah, it's going well. So I'll get this board cut out now, get that in there, and then we'll get these all trimmed. And yeah, connect up the radiator. They're starting to look really good. Hope you can see that. So they line up, the intake lines up. We've got, the boost pipes are going to line up there and come through to the top mount intercooler. And we need to modify this because I want to have the air filter sticking out the top, hopefully, right in the middle, so it's drawing in cold air. Not it's going to be cold, it's going to be warm when we're driving this. It's going to be summer. Not how it looks at the minute outside. A little bit wet out there, but yeah, we're now at, just coming up 1 o'clock. So the guys will take some lunch, but I'm going to carry on. All the panels have now been made for inside the car, around the radiator and the bottom panel. I've done some cutouts as well, so we can gain access to the ECU on this side and the battery on the other side. I've just started on some of the boost pipes as well, because they've got to come through the panel that's going to sit at the top. Also just fitted in one of these little fittings, so they go inside like that. You drill a little hole, and that will give us our boost pickup point. Sorry, it's a lot going on here. So we can connect that all in. Let me just bring the camera around. So originally you had this pipe here that run round and went into a T-piece. Well, because we've changed it in the position, we need to fit this pipe in. So this comes off the turbo. We're going to cut it down so it doesn't need to be quite as long as that. So we can then have this T-piece. Oh, let me get the camera in the right place. There we go. So we can then get this T-piece there. That pickup from this comes along here into the sensor here. We're going to cut this off as well and flip that round so the filter sits on the top. We've also received our 18mm diameter boost sensor, the map sensor. So we just fitted that into the pipe. So that goes there. So we can now work out where the pipe's going to come out. We need to get the roll cage back on and mount the intercooler so we can connect those pipes up and just slot everything into place. I'm just going to trim this across the back here, same as we did the black. So that finishes that off. Put a couple of mounts along both sides, so when the board goes on, it mounts onto the sides. It will mount onto, handily enough, this just here on the engine. Whether that's a good idea, I don't know, because the engine may move around a little bit and bang on the board, but we'll cross that bridge later on. And yeah, on the top of the rad here, so that'll be mounting here, mounting down the bottom this side and mounting over there, making that all nice and secure. We've run a piece of 1-inch wood across there and screwed that in, so that makes that nice and solid, and we will screw the board down as well. Loads more electrics going on at the minute. We're making the wiring looms for everything, putting in the fuse boards down there. There's one in the back as well. Yeah, lots going on. We're now sleeving all the wiring in the front as well. So Rob's working that at the minute, getting that all in. We've mounted some hidden little indicators on the front, and then we've tinted the lenses on those so they'll be hidden out the way but still visible for MOT purposes, and people can actually see us where we're going. But I think they're going to notice this on the roads, that's for sure. We've still got to make the exhaust, and we've got to fit some lambda sensors into that as well. So again, going to put you on a bit of time lapse, a slightly different angle, and we'll crack on and do some more and catch up with you in a bit. There's still a lot to do, and what are we now? We're at 3:04. So yes, let's jump to it. Okay, so as you just seen in the time lapse, I spent a load of time trying to make an exhaust system work, which I finally got to. So we're going to do a tuck away. It's actually a CSP exhaust box that I'm going to modify, and I've cut the original downpipe as well, so we can get this on a couple of bends. So I just grabbed the welder. We're going to weld that up. The guys have just changed from running the fuse box that we had, and they're going to run the same one that we put into the back, so they're just sorting that out. But we now have lights on the front. They've tidied up the wiring loom, and we have indicators underneath. We've just tinted the lens covers for those as well, so they're mounted both underneath. Yeah, we've got a plan of action for where we're putting all the piping. I just need to get this exhaust welded up. Then we're going to get the dash into place and get all this roll cage on. We're getting there, slowly but surely. I mean, the time's still ticking away. What have we got now? 4:45 on Wednesday. So yes, we've got one more day to go. Can we do it? Will we be able to do it? I'm going to stay late and do as much as we possibly can today. We've put off the photo shoot with Nick. It's just not going to happen today, so fingers crossed he can come down tomorrow. I've just spoken to him a minute ago and he said yes. So yeah, we need to test a few bits and pieces. The main thing is it will run, it will drive. Well, again, fingers crossed, because the ECU that we finally got for the car was a borrowed one, and that's now gone back to the person that owned that, and we're having another ECU made. I hope they get that done tonight, and they're meant to be dropping it off tomorrow. So it's so many unknowns with this project, it's untrue, but yeah, we're just going to keep going and aim for the best. Still going at it, guys. It is now 8:49 p.m. on Wednesday night. I've just been up to the post box. We actually had a delivery today. More parts, and this is the air filter. I'm just working on that at the minute. The exhaust is now on. I'll give that a little bit of a paint. It's got a wrinkle finish. The lambda sensors are in. So just got to move the wires around. I'm going to be dealing with the inside as well. I want to get that trimmed tonight. I've just secured the windscreen in and put the dash in as well. I'll show you that in a second. But let's unbox this. That's a shame that the A is upside down. It's got an A on it. So we've been getting all of our fixtures and fittings from autosiliconhose.com. So yeah, really good company, fast delivery. You can order all your bits and pieces from them, so a shout out to them. Hopefully they're watching as well. If they're not, I will give them a shout out on the socials as well. But yeah, I've just got the filter. So my plan is to, if you remember I don't even know if I've shown you yet actually. So there's a board going in the back, and I want to have the filter sitting right in the middle, just underneath the intercooler and everything. The radiator is obviously sitting across here, so I need to cut the board, which is down there. It's all rough cut at the minute, so we'll tidy that all up. That's going to sit on the top here, and it's going to have the piping coming out that connects to the intercooler. I've stuck the aerial on. I said the windscreen is now on, the dash is now in. I still need to mount that, but that's looking wicked. Got the dials in there as well. They look like they're a bit of a weird angle, but when I'm actually sitting in there, you can still see them. I'm going to be having a good time, so who needs to look at gauges? Yeah, so it's starting to come together. I've just had to move some electrics over that side to clear everything. Otherwise, I think, yeah, we're good. I'm going to carry on and get this mounted up before I call it quits for another day. But yeah, I'm going to stop filming now, get on with this. Catch you in the next episode.